What stops me making change is this image up here. It's lots of ideas and then reading lots of other, almost too much advice. And so sometimes I get all in a tangle and that stops me. So what stops me making change is, I suppose, sometimes a lack of clarity. And what helps me to make change is connecting to my passion, what really matters to my heart. It's the fire and the heart there. These things that look like ants are footsteps, small steps, trying to break it down into small steps. And accountability, buddies, somebody to talk things through, somebody to help me, to do it with me. And even though I cannot draw, making myself draw also helps me to make change because it helped me think about it a bit differently. So that's me, and I'll pass this on.
I really enjoyed this. So I did mine, what stops me up here. This is my little face, and this is my little brain. And I think my brain is the thing that tends to stop me in my tracks. I tend to do a lot of worrying up here, and I feel if I'm too in my head, that's where I'm going to be getting stuck and frozen. But then if I pause, and usually meditation helps me calm my nervous system so I can think clearly. I usually find that if I'm listening to my gut or, listening to my heart with things, that's usually when I'm able to move through and get to the other side. And also nurturing, I've sort of drawn, I try to do a Russian doll thing. And that I think I try and talk to the other parts of myself. So is my inner child a bit fearful of this, or is there a fearful bit of me that I just need to reassure? And those things tend to usually help me. So thanks for the creative prompt, Rosso. Passing on to Axa.
This is what stops me. So it's kind of inner thoughts, the anxieties, and just, when you want to make a change and all of a sudden your stomach won't settle kind of feelings. And then for my things to change, I've got talking to people with love and just open hearts. And then the next one is, it's meant to be a clock in a safe. So it's protected time and just time to do whatever I want, even if it's not necessarily the things to change. And then I really struggled with the third one, and I ended up drawing a butterfly because I was thinking about space to spread my wings and do what I want and grow in the weird way I need to. And then I will pass to Yash.
Things that stop me making change, right? It's just being in a bubble, that feeling of, and there's lots of different things that make that bubble, but that's something that I feel stops me. So trying to get out of that and just, experience new things and meet new people. And the next one that leads on to is connecting with people in lots of different ways and coming up with ideas. That's something that, gives me motivation. And the other one is staying grounded, with my feet on the ground, particularly on soil or grass, just, remembering that we're a human and we are nature, and that we, just feeling connected to the earth basically motivates me to make change. Although the last one was a hand being saying no, but also that's around baundaries. And although that is this looks like a kind of cage, it's also leaving space for other stuff to happen. So there's my ones. I'll pass to Jemima.
Thank you. So in terms of what stops me making change, I resonate with the big tangly feeling of just kind of being a bit caught up in my kind of head and getting tense. And then I suppose the things that kind of came out of that is that tangle kind of can happen when I'm too busy. So when the diary is too full, and that means that downtime is spent being a bit tired. So too much time on a screen, and kind of a bit of a fear of exposure, being watched, and then pointing back to the kind of the tangle that in itself is just prohibitive. And then really similar to what lots of you have said, so time, dedicated, committed time, even if it's not actively stepping towards that change, just having time and having space to commit to that time so that you don't replace what you actually want to do with a false priority. And then a kind of a sense of community and accountability, and a kind of a bit of a feeling of momentum. So even if you kind of even if the line's not straight towards the change, like you are feeling like there is some kind of progress being made, and you can kind of feel it happening, and it keeps you going and it's inspiring. And I find that kind of that keeps me accountable in and of itself. Yeah, I'd find it hard if there was kind of no sense of momentum or progress, I think. And I'll pass to Will.
Thanks, Jemima. Yeah, a lot of mine are quite similar to other people's, albeit drawn worse. My top ones are my brain, which is just overthinking with everything, not just change making, but I equate it to, like, sounds weird, but playing tennis. The more you actually think when you're playing tennis, the worse it gets. So actually, like, being in the flow of things and using your intuition. And then what helps me, yeah, similar to other people's, I've got people. I need feedback. I actually need a reason. Like, I need someone to tell me to do something. So you can see my personal notes here. Don't read them. And then actually, this is a bit of a weird one perhaps, but I think this is the sad emoji. I think you need to experience some sort of pain, or, you know, you actually need to feel the need for change. And so it's quite difficult to come from a place if you've just had a constantly privileged, very lucky life. And so actually that driver for change comes from a place of sadness, I think, which is totally valid. And then this is a bit more dark than the clock, because I guess I'm just quite dark. This is about, you know, we all have limited time. Time's running out. Not running out, but there is limited time in which we have on this planet. Actually, that sort of, I guess, guides me daily, you know, like, what time do I have, and how do I want to use it, whether that's change making and what. But I've just recently been like, my God, you can blink and suddenly you're 70, you know, feeling that. So I will pass to Koi.
I put it all in one place, but the thing that makes me not change things is probably like comfort with certainty, and really more like the discomfort with uncertainty. Like, when you want to bring about change, you can't measure what that's going to look like. You don't, you know, it can feel like, at least I know this hell. Let me stick here, that kind of thing. The things that make me want to change, definitely vision. Like, if I can see it, if I can feel it, if I can feel a strong pull towards something being different, that usually gets me talking about it. And then I think what makes me actually make progress is like tiny steps, this like one step at a time mentality, because the like, how is it going to be done can usually really put me off. So just like, well, this is doable today, that kind of thing, that mentality I find really helpful. And then, you know, I was going to say space because I love space, but I feel like probably a part of me loving space is like reducing the pressure of accountability sometimes. And I think community, as uncomfortable as that can be sometimes, is really great for me, just like pushing through, hearing different ideas, making sure that this isn't just like a one-man show kind of thing. And I think community can be uncomfortable for me, but it is like what will make the change real. Joe!
I really enjoyed hearing everyone else's. So my picture is almost exactly the same as Jemima's. But so yeah, I think for me, the thing that I realize is like, for me, I'm so feelings led. So like, I actually find change incredibly easy when I feel the right feelings. And then when I don't, I find it impossible. So the thing that sort of leads me to feeling like it's impossible is that, yeah, just basically being so caught up in the loop in my brain. And that comes mainly from not being in myself and just being fully guided by externally what's going on, spending too much on my phone, listening too much to the noise, just feeling like, blah. Whereas then I was thinking, well, what do I do to get into the feeling where I find change easy? So I drew a tree, but like basically that feeling of groundedness, like Yash was saying, like when I spend time on my own, even if that's 5 minutes, or like just really like actually being on my own, not just like on my own on my phone, but like listening to myself and like being in myself, but then also like being really fed by connection. Like I find change much easier when I'm kind of bouncing off someone else, or I'm kind of coming up with ideas, or just feeling like someone else has got my back, essentially, that I'm not just doing it on my own. And then hope, I think for me, is really important. Like I just find it so, yeah, like basically on a day when I don't feel like I have hope, I find it incredibly hard to feel like I want to make change. Whereas if I can just see a tiny fraction of like, oh, it could be different like this, then I can start moving again towards it. But I'm really noticing it at the moment, like day by day, like it's so different. So yeah, restoring hope. And I really liked, Sam sent me an email, forwarded me an email last night, which was good for a bit of hope newsletter. So yeah, anyone who's got any hope, send it my way.